So here we are in 2.83.16 LTS. If we press Q, we see that we're using an older version of HardOps. So what I want to show in this older version of HardOps is basically if we were to select this object and duplicate it, and then we decided we want to mirror this cube across this cube, we would select both and press Alt X. While we're mirroring across, we see that the gizmo looks correct. So we click and we've completed our operation. However, what if I wanted to select just this object and then press Alt X to make modifications? Well, we see that the gizmo location is incorrect. We're actually mirroring across this object, which is where the gizmo should appear. And that in general is the gist of this issue. However, if we were to delete this object and we pressed Alt X and we looked at it from this view, but instead we wanted to mirror according to this view, we could press V to change the mirror over to view. And then when we mirror across, we've now mirrored across the view. In fact, if we turn on wireframe, we can see that we perfectly mirrored across. However, if I press Alt X and we bring the mirror modifier up again for edit and we press X to reset it, so we're basically modifying the mirror modifier that's currently existing, we see that the orientation of the gizmo has been reset, basically making it more difficult for me to tell, maybe I want to mirror on the Z, maybe I want to mirror on the Y. And with the gizmo incorrect, it's just hard to tell exactly what's going on there. So let us minimize this and let's go to the current version of Blender where we have HardOps 987.15. And if we were to Shift D duplicate this object and Shift select this object, and we were to choose to press Alt X to mirror across this object, because we're in modifier, we can just click Y to mirror this across. If we select this object and we were to choose, hey, we want to modify that mirror that we just added, we could press Alt X and we see that the gizmo is in the correct place and it's actually oriented correctly too. So we can choose that we want to keep the X, we can Alt X, we can bring it up again, and we could choose, hey, we want to keep the Z. And when we click the Z, we see that we mirrored on the Z. So that's the gist of the improvements that we aimed for with this particular update. You know, nothing major, but the gizmo being off really drove me crazy. So if we press X and delete this, let's select the object, and we're just looking at it from a 3/4 angle. We'll press numpad 5 to look at it head on. If we press Alt X and we press V in order to mirror from view, we've now set up basically a view mirror. But what this also means is that if we press Alt X and we press X to reset back to modifier, which means that we're modifying the currently existing mirror, then we see that it's also now oriented to the empty that allowed us to first mirror from view, meaning that whenever I hold Shift and I click Y to keep the gizmo active, we see that we get an accurate result. And if I click Z, we see that we see exactly what we're getting here. So if I press Alt X, we can undo on the Z, and we can also undo on the Y, taking us back to X, meaning that basically if we were to begin cutting, we're cutting on both sides of this mirrored object.